Welcome back to the Circuit Media Podcast with your boy, Billy Boy Fabian. Today I have a very special guest, the Emperor, Arron Wales. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thank you. And
Nice,
yourself?
mate. Yeah, I'm superb, mate. Been looking forward to getting you on a podcast for quite a while. You are a very interesting character indeed. So I want to go back first. I want to know how you got into the fight game and why.
I mean, I sort of fell into it accidentally, to be honest. One of my local gyms was doing one of these 8 week white collar camp things. And I sort of just thought, I'm going to raise a bit of money for Pendleside Hospice, which is they do sort of end of life care and such around my area. So we did that. We did the 8 week camp. And then they did another one, and I thought, right, well, this time I'm going to do it for Pendle Dogs in Need. Dogs are very close to my heart. I love dogs, always had them growing up. And Pendle Dogs in Need do a lot for rehoming dogs and such. So I thought, right, that's another charity I can raise money for. And that was that. And then about a year passed, and Seamus Devlin, big up Seamus, he phoned me up. He goes, I'm putting a show on at the Municipal Hall close to you. Do you want to rematch your debut? Because I lost my debut.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go. Went in and I beat him over 4 rounds, picked up my first ever title. Still got that now, still hold it. Very, very close to my heart. And that was sort of that for a little bit. And I bet anywhere between 3 and 6 months passed. Seamus rang me up. He goes, Arron, he says, I need your help. He says, I've had somebody pull out on a show tomorrow in Bolton. I know you're not fit. I know you're not fully trained, etc., etc. But can you come and do this fight? And that was the start of my journeyman, sort of just where it were. I took the fight on. I think it worked out about 14 hours notice. Went and did 3 rounds with a very, very, very tough kid, Stu Martin, again, another active fighter, just signed a contract with the BKFC. And that was that. And then COVID struck then. So I'd had 4 fights before COVID happened. And COVID obviously ruined a lot of things for a lot of people, as we all know. So sort of 2019, 2020, 21 passed. And it got to the back end of 2021, beginning of 2022, and I thought, you know what, I want to make a run of this. I want to just go out and fight everybody and anybody and just do what I can to make a name for myself and leave something behind for my kids to be proud of. And that was sort of that. And in my first year, I think I probably did about 20 fights, not many. Second year again, probably somewhere around that. But then last year was when it really picked up. I did 62 fights last year. Sort of solidified myself as a household name on the unlicensed scene. And this year now is the year I make statements.
Yeah. And this is why I opened up by calling you an interesting character, because the mindset that you have from the very start, you got into this simply to help people. Something to do, I'm guessing. Do you know what I mean? Burn up a bit of energy. And your mindset from the start of last year to the start of this year is just unstoppable. You've not just had 60 odd fights last year, but they were serious fights. Like on some big promotions, tough fights. And you are now, in my view personally, one of the best unlicensed fighters on the circuit, without a doubt. I think that's in many people's view now. And you've become an inspiration to a lot of fighters. You don't just help yourself, but you help a lot of other people.
Yeah.
There's so many fighters that speak to me, and your name just pops up as how they got started, or someone that helped them or has helped them along the way. So, no, man, you're a credit to the game. You mentioned someone before, Seamus Devlin.
Yeah.
And I think it's people like yourself that should follow on from what Seamus and people like Seamus and Hayden, etc., all started,
Yeah.
And hand down that baton. Talking about interesting fights, you just literally had one the other night, which was extremely stunning. Do you want to just briefly talk about that?
Yeah, so Where do I get started with that one, really? Because it was a rematch. Me and Kean Gordon, very, very talented kid. I think his record's 9-1, something like that. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. But I know he's a very talented kid. And in the first fight, we actually come to a draw, um, which for somebody who with sort of less than 10 fights to get a draw with somebody of my experience, I knew there was something special there about him. And Curtis turned around to me, Curtis Harbord. He reached out to me and said, "Do you want to rematch this fight?" And the fight was that good. I actually had 4 promoters bidding over this fight. They all wanted to put this fight on. But me, I'm loyal, like a dog. And Curtis was the one that staged the original show. Curtis got the first nibbles at that fight if it was to happen. So we agreed the rematch. The 2 weeks before I was training, I've been training hard all year, 3 times a week. And then 2 weeks before the fight, I fell ill with the flu. Very bad case of the flu, which then led on to a sinus infection. The sinus infection carried on. I was on antibiotics up until the day before the fight. And I remember I was sat in my changing room with my corner team. I said, "I'm not ready for this." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm not ready." I said, "I'm not fit." I said, "I haven't got the 3-round war that we had the first time round." I said, "I haven't got that." They're like, you have, you're Arron. You just go out and you just make her do. And that's what I do. If I have my legs missing, I wheelchair myself to the ring. But I weren't ready for it mentally or physically. And I got in and I remember, I think I counted it 7 punches I threw. 7 punches, that's all it took. And what caused that, I don't know, because anybody that's seen me and watched me fight, they know I'm not a big knockout fighter. I'm not. Out of all my wins, I've had 9 knockouts now. Out of, I think it's just short of 40 wins. I'm a point scorer. I'm a classy boxer, I like to think. So to go out and get a knockout in such emphatic fashion as well, 19 seconds from the first bell to the last punch. I mean, I don't know, and I'm not sure on statistics, but I feel like it's up there with one of the fastest KOs on the unlicensed scene. It's got to be, surely.
It's got to be up there, sure, definitely. I mean, we had a 13-second one on our show, but it was nothing of the caliber of your fight.
Yeah.
And you may not be known as a KO artist. Like, I've watched you fight a lot now. I've watched you fight live, and you are a very skillful boxer. You're an artist in a way. But when you land in a certain place, there's just no stopping it. Some people I was glad to see Kean got his mindset back the next day. He's
Yeah.
on to the next, because it can happen to anybody. It really can.
Yeah,
It
and I
really
mean, me and Kane had a very good talk after the fight. He was in the changing room and he was heartbroken. It was a very,
can.
very hard pill for him to swallow because it had a defeat before, but not in that sort of fashion. And I can't speak from experience because I've never been knocked out. I've been stopped, don't get me wrong, but I've never been knocked out like that. So I couldn't really speak from my experience. But I just said to him, look, if it weren't you, it were me. It's one of them. It's a sport that we both love. And I've got a lot of time for Kean, a lot of respect for him. It was a bit more difficult this time around because after the draw, because of the fight we had a lot of respect for each other. And all the way in the build up to this fight, we've been talking constantly online. And I do my TikTok lives now. He comes into my TikTok lives, wishes me well, I wish him well. We have a bit of banter. So it was like fighting a friend, if you will. So to see him the way he was after the fight was quite heart wrenching. But I said to him, look, dust yourself off, you go again. And my advice to him, and I've told him this myself, drop down weight. I think the 72 lads are a bit big for him because if you watch the fight, you can see there's a visible size difference between us. And I think down at 65, he'll be a force to be reckoned with him.
Oh, 100%. 100%. This sport, it builds a brotherhood. It does. It builds not just a respect, but like when you've been in a ring with someone and you've built that respect and that love, you'll go to the end of the earth for them to help them out. Do you know what I mean? You'll do anything.
100%.
And this sport's different to any other sport I've ever been involved in. Talk like that was a massive statement. We're talking about statements. Give me your highlight of your career so far. I know it's going to be a tough question, but the number one highlight of your career so far? I probably should have prepared you for that question.
Yeah. I mean, the fight on Friday, that was my first official knockout, not technical knockout, but first official knockout. So that was a big one. But for me, I think on a personal level, there's two that stand out. There was the trilogy with a lad called Lee Dyer. We fought twice. I won the first one. He won the second one, but I wasn't in a place after. So the second one was a week before I buried my son, and I shouldn't have been in the ring. And he even said that to me. And I dislocated my shoulder with a poorly thrown left hook in the second round, which stopped me from carrying on. So then in the third fight, I beat him. I took the title, and that was in memory of my son. So that was a big one, massive, massive one. But then the second one being the fight with Hayden Sheriff, that's a highlight for me in the aspect that when I first got on to the unlicensed scene, there was 2 or 3 legends of the scene, icons. Hayden Sheriff being one of them, Will Cairns being one of them, Eric Sutton being another. I've fought Hayden now, and I've such a relationship with him over that now. Will Cairns, we were supposed to fight in hybrid on Risk It All Boxing. That fell through for reasons out of everybody's control. So that me and Will in hybrid will happen this year. That will happen.
That'd be a brilliant fight.
Eric Sutton, however, people give me a lot of grief because I'm probably too modest. I don't think I'm as good as maybe people perceive me to be, and I think that me fighting Eric would be a bit of a one-sided fight towards Eric. A lot of people have said different. They think it'd be a very entertaining fight because you watch my showboatiness, my what's the word for it? Kidology, that's the word. You look at the way I present myself in a ring, and it's very synonymous with how Eric is. So I think it'd be a good clash of styles, but I just think it'd be too much for me, and that's me being humbly honest.
Do you know what? My perception is of you, because I've spoke to you a lot, and I think that you'll slowly starting to believe how good you are, simply because of the stages that you've been on, the people you've been in with. I think at first you probably suffered imposter syndrome a little bit, thinking that you probably did. Your numbers say you deserve to be in with these people, but do I deserve to be? And you absolutely do. Like I think you're absolutely superb, and I've told you this many times. And the reason is through the question I'm going to ask you here. Like, how do you get up? Because before I ask you this question, you're not. There's a new thing now that started. Journeymen used to come and get paid. Right? They would just get paid. Now, journeymen, a lot of them are coming to get paid and win. But I feel like people like you have started this. So how do you get your mindset all week, knowing that you're probably going to have 2 or 3 fights this weekend? You're training as well. You're not sitting on your backside waiting to metaphorically jump off the sofa. So what is it inside that mind of yours that gives you that strength every single week? Because I'm fighting in 4 weeks' time, and I don't feel like I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are ready every single week.
It's a very, very good question. And in the words of, the only way I can do it, in the words of the great John Fury, I'm a fighting man.
Yeah.
It's what I do. It's what I was born to do. And I say it to people, and people in the locker rooms, they laugh at me all the time for it, because I rock up with a can of Monster in my hand and a cig in my mouth and go out, and I'm pasting kids that have had 12-week camps, that have trained hard, that are very good lads. It's just another day in the office. To me, it's like my day job. It's no different to a man going and sitting behind his computer on a 9 to 5. That's how I look at it. It's just a job. And to do well at your job, you've got to perform.
Yeah, you have to be ready. You have to be prepared for your job. I like the way you've put that, to be honest. If you had, so there are so many young boxers getting into the game now, because unlicensed boxing is so big now. It's taken over in the last, 3 or 4 years. Give some young kids advice if they're not thinking about getting into boxing. They're coming up to their first fight. They are nervous. They're not sure about themselves. What sort of advice would you give them? Because I'm pretty sure you've been there 100 odd times now.
116 to be exact.
Yeah.
My advice, and I've had it, so on B Crown Promotions, I had 2 juniors making their debut. And the same advice I give anybody that's going to step in the ring, whether it's for the first time or whether it's for the 1,000th time, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what the outcome is. You've gained the respect for getting through the ropes. Go out there, enjoy it. Don't put too much stress or pressure on yourself. Ignore the crowd, ignore the lights. Just enjoy it, soak up the atmosphere and make the most of what... You might only do it the once, but that's memories that last your lifetime, so go out there and make the most of it.
100%. It's a journey unlike no other. Talking about journeys, so my promotion, Fight Club Promotions, finally gets the Wales boys on. You're on June the 6th, Bad Intentions in concert. You are fighting Matthew Morton for the club middleweight title. So talk to me about that. Talk about how you feel about the fight, obviously how you feel it's going to go, etc.
Yeah, I mean, first of all respect to Matthew Morton. Very, very credible character. Got a lot of time for him. It's just business. I respect what he's done in hybrid, in bare knuckle, and in gloves. I believe is he your current title holder? He is, isn't he? I believe.
He is current middleweight champion. Yeah, he is.
And in the nicest way I can possibly say this, the belt comes home with me. My mindset and the way that I'm training this year, there'll be very few that stop me. I'm on a path to destruction. I've said to my partner and my kids, this is my last year in the sport, and I'm going out with a bang. And unfortunately, Spider's just another man in the way.
I like it. So normally I would ask one of the fighters to send a message to their opponent, but you already did. That is the message. It's business. That bout's coming home with me. Yeah. I'm pretty sure if I was to ask him the same thing, he'd say the same. He'd probably just blow you a kiss at the end of it, knowing that. It's going to be a really interesting fight. Both of you are very polite gentlemen when you meet you, but getting you in the ring is a completely different thing. You've both got your own sort of mindsets right now and your own plans. Guys, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, if you'd like to come and see Arron fight, go and see Arron or come and see myself. Tickets are on sale now. Fight Club Promotions, Bad Intentions. Just quickly, I want to ask you about your younger brother. We had him on the podcast before. Fantastic character. He really is. He's a special young lad, he is.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his fight with Brad Jones?
I mean, I don't know much of Brad Jones. I've not seen much of him. It was a calculated decision that, yes, it's a good fight to take. I'm confident in Conor's skill set. His box at first, when he first started, he was a very brawly, doggy kind of fighter. And now he's sort of honing his skills. He's tidying up. He's becoming a better boxer as opposed to a brawler now. But let's not get that twisted. If he needs to switch back to that dog, he can. And if Brad brings it on him and he needs to switch to the dog, he will. And I'm confident in the ability that the Wales brothers carry, especially when we're there as a team. So yeah. I'm confident that Conor can cause, whether it's an upset or not, I don't know. But I feel like Conor can get the victory there.
It's definitely a very interesting fight. A lot of people who are talking to me are actually, believe it or not, calling that one as possible fight of the night.
Yeah,
potentially. What do you think about the card in general? Is there any fights that you've picked out that you're looking forward to watching yourself?
I believe Chris and Sheriff's on.
They are, Chris Leo and Hayden
That's
Sheriff.
That's probably a good fight. I would probably pick that one for the fight of the night myself.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I was really, really excited to match that one up. Chris is the current gloved welterweight champion, and there's no one better to defend it against than Hayden Sheriff. I mean, you beat Hayden Sheriff, in my eyes, you solidify yourself as an elite fighter at the very top, because Hayden is elite at the very top. Yeah. You beat someone elite at the very top, it means you're there too. You sit right next to them.
100%. And like I've sort of found when I fought Hayden, he's tougher than you first expect, and he hits harder than you first expect. Because to look at him, he's not big muscle bound, heavy base lad. You know, he's quite slim in build, but he hits much harder than he looks and he hits. But at the same time, Chris Leo, what a fighter, very, very talented fighter. So it'll be a good level finder for him. Because if you don't beat Aiden, it's not a bad thing. It's Aiden. You know what I mean? But if you do beat Aiden, you know that you've put yourself up there with the creme de la creme of the unlicensed scene. Now, I got a very, very, very close loss to Aiden. We both agreed that maybe a draw would have been fairer, but that's what it is. And I sort of feel like now, I'm just digressing a little bit now, so I do apologise, but I feel like now I've sort of set myself as what I'm going to call myself the gatekeeper for the elite level. If you're beating me, you know you're going on to good things. And that sounds a bit egotistical and stuff, but I've been in there with the best of the best. I've beat some of them, I've lost to some of them. So if you beat me, you know you're at a high level. If you get beat by me, it's not a bad thing because of my experience, my skill set. So like I said to Kian, just because he's lost to me doesn't mean that you're a low-level dude. You know what I mean? You're just not quite ready for that next level up. That's all it is. So you go back, you reset, you bring your levels back down a little bit, and you go again.
Of course, you've been there yourself. You was more than likely beaten by somebody at the time where you thought, I can beat these, I'm at their level. And you had to reset and go again. And then go again.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to go again multiple times now. Yeah. And I always find myself just clawing away at the top, just not quite to get through. A lot of people now, I mean, Jordan Wheat, a very respected name on the scene, he says that I'm up there, you know. And even Aiden, I took Aiden to the show on Friday, and he said, in his opinion, I'm up there with the best of the best now. So to hear that from someone who was my idol starting the show, absolutely priceless to me, that.
Yeah, definitely, because you are a humble person. I've said this many times, like I say, you're very respectful, you're modest, very humble. Yeah. But I just feel like at the start of the year, we had a few conversations around New Year, and you were just making me believe that the Arron Wales mindset has just completely taken off. Like this year, I can see you making a few statements that you did the other night quite frequently. A fun question I've always wondered and I've never asked. There has to be some serious Wales brothers competitiveness. Are you worried that your brother is going to take over the number of fights, or is that something you implore? Do you want to have more fights than him? Is there a race to see who can one day get the most?
No. It's there is a competitive streak there, but not in a malicious way. In that I want him to follow in my footsteps, if you will, and if he can follow in my footsteps and surpass me, brilliant, because he's carrying on the Wales legacy, the Wales bloodline. With Sean, I mean, a lot of people on the scene have compared us to the likes of the Diaz brothers from the UFC. So to hear that, that's incredible. I mean, I think I'm about 20 fights ahead of Conor. I've got a couple more titles than Conor, but I've also been at it slightly longer than Conor. So I hope he does go on to achieve greatness and gets up to that elite level. Because unfortunately, as it stands at the moment, and he won't mind me saying this, every time he's got to an elite level fighter, he's just fallen short. So he will get there, and he will climb through, and he will break through that barrier. But he's still only young yet. 26, I think he is. He's still got a lifetime in the sport, if you ask me.
Yeah, 100%. See, I wanted to ask that question, but I sort of already knew the answer. I knew that your answer would be, I want my brother to succeed more than I have and continue this legacy, because it is a legacy that you're both building. A legacy to be proud of. Anyone who's seen you both at a show, they will agree to that Diaz brothers sort of mentality that you've got, because the support is unreal. Like when you see one fighting, you see the other one in the corner. It's perfect. It's like I say, it's an inspiration to young fighters coming through.
I mean, that's just one thing I will touch on. Anybody that's seen me corner Conor or Conor corner me, you can see that bond there. You can see the strength of the unison when we're in together. I mean, we're good when we're fighting on shows on our own, but if we've got each other in each other's corner, we're on fire. We're just. I will say though, while I'm live on podcast, Conor, stop fucking listening to me more. Frustrates me. He'll listen very well for the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute, and then he starts to fight on his own instinct, which is good when it's working, but when it's not working, it's very bad. So Conor, message to you, start listening.
You've been told there, Connor. And to be honest, you are 100% right. A lot of fighters, they can go rogue after the first 30
Yeah,
seconds of that. The trainer's words stop ringing in their ears. They can go rogue.
yeah,
And no, I do believe that you boys are on fire when you're together.
yeah,
When I had the podcast with Connor, when I was speaking to Connor, the way he spoke about you was in inspirational sort of terms. At the same time, like it just shone through that he is your big support and vice versa. So no, it's great to see on the circuit. It really is.
yeah.
Um, Going on now to sponsors, etc. So I would like to put it out there right now. This is probably the best time to sponsor this man. And he's going to tell you the reasons why. You want to shout out a couple of your current sponsors and then explain to me some of the fights you've got coming up and the reasons why businesses and companies should contact you right now.
Yeah, so first of all, my two main sponsors have been with me from the beginning. Saints Dragons, they're like a geeky alternative shop. They're where I go on a weekend when I'm not fighting. I play Pokemon TCG trading cards. I play Pokemon, helps me get away from reality. They're a home away from home for me, and the amount that they do for the community is just incredible. Getting kids off the street, giving them something to do, can't preach for them enough. The second one being Eclipse Sports. They printed up all my kit with my logos, etc., etc. And again, do a lot for community, do a lot of work with charity. It's got a bit of a theme, if you haven't noticed. I like to work with people that work with other people. I'm not a selfish man. So any sponsors do want to get on board, obviously I welcome them all in. I am due a new pair of gloves because I've probably had about 500 fights in these ones now. So I am due a new pair of gloves. So if anybody wants to reach out and help, that's more than appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. You can find Arron on Instagram. You can find him on TikTok. You can find him on Facebook. Alternatively, contact me and I'll get in touch with Arron. Some big fights coming up, obviously, namely Fight Club Promotions, Bad Intentions, where he steps up against the two-weight Fight Club champion, Matthew Morton. It is going to be a fantastic fight. Make sure you get your tickets. My last question to you, buddy, is we sort of touched upon it already, but give me in one sentence what your plans are for this year.
This year is make statements. So I'm just going to do a quick run through. I've got another title fight on Saturday up in Leeds, 28th of February at the Emerald Suite Morley. That's another title coming on with me. Then I'm having March off because end of March we have a big, big, big fight. I'm fighting, I believe he's one of your fighters, I believe, Ant 3.
I'm from the
I'm
Rainmaker.
fighting Ant 3 on the BKFC New Blood Series. Massive, massive show. I'm big up for Ant. I watched his fight with Aidan Sheriff. What a fight. Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for me. It's going to be a hard night for me, that. But unfortunately, I might have to become a Fight Club killer.
You might have to.
I might have to be. That's two of your boys I'm fighting, and it's just unfortunately how it's worked out.
Remember with Sheen Ferguson as well, make it.
Oh yes, so obviously I beat Shane. I'm fighting Ant. I'm fighting Matty. And it's sort of a bit strange, really, because I've come from being one of your fighters.
Yeah.
You know, I was part of the team for a brief period. So, but you know me, I've got nothing but love and respect for all of your lads. They're all top lads. It's just how the dice have been rolled. Things can't be helped. But yeah, so BKC's the next big one, followed by the fight with Matty Morton. I don't do predictions, but if my mindset and my physicality carries on the way it is, I will stop Matty. That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'll tip my hat and say, fair play to you, Matthew, you deserve this. But I just don't see it going any other way. Same with Ant, with the way that my mindset is set. I want that BKFC contract. I need that contract to secure a good life for me and my kids. And he's going to have to kill me to get me out of there. And I think he's prepared to try and do that. You know, so fair play to him. And fair play to Matthew. Like I say, he's achieved a lot in the sport, and they're both going to be very, very good fights.
100%. I'm really looking forward to that. Ant Ray BKFC Prospect Show. Is that in Middlesbrough, I'm guessing? Am I
Yeah,
guessing that one
Middlesbrough
right?
Sports Village on the 28th of March. So again, if anybody wants tickets, you can message me, you can message Rick Doctor, or the man himself, the Fuse.
Yeah.
They're all tickets are available with all of them.
No, listen, good luck to you. The same as I said, like before you fought Sheen, we've got something at No Limits. Like we know everything. It's all business. It's all sport. It's all competition. Us No Limits boys, we're not adverse to fighting each other if we need to, as you saw with Chris and Sheen at Nitrous. So, no, listen, it's all business. Good
Pardon
luck
me.
to you.
Sorry for that. Coffee went down the wrong hole. I'm sorry.
That's all right, mate. I can edit that bit out. Yeah, listen, it's all been obviously Amp being one of the No Limits lads.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to hope Amp can get that contract, but the same thing, I've got a lot of love for you.
Yeah.
So, however it happens, as usual, Billy sits on the fence on this one.
Yeah.
I'll get splinters in my arse. I don't care. The guys, Arron Wales, you've just heard it here first. Listen, he's fighting on BKFC, Fight Club Promotions. Got another title fight next week. Guys, this is the time to follow this man. It's been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you, Arron. I'm pretty sure we're going to get together again soon.
Yeah, we will.
100%. Guys, this has been the Emperor, Arron Wales, on the Circuit Media.